Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to have a look at this question of indices. The question is simplify. That is 128 raised to negative 2 over 7, x raised to 5 over 2, y raised to 10 over 3, all over x raised to 3, then y raised to 2, then close the bracket, raised to 1 over 6. Now, I want us to simplify this integral expression. Now, the first thing that we shall do is we can simplify 128 raised to negative 2 over 7 alone. Then we proceed to simplify, that is x and y. That is in both the numerator and the denominator. Now, let us simplify 128 raised to negative 2 over 7. 128 raised to negative 2 over 7 is like if I write 128 then raised to 1 over 7, that is raised to 1 over 7, this is 7, then we close the bracket, raised to that is negative 2. Remember from the laws of indices, this law that says a raised to m, then close the bracket, raised to n is just the same as a raised to mn. That is, you multiply the powers. It is just the same thing because this is 128 raised to 1 over 7, then close the bracket, raised to negative 2. So this is a power and this is a power. So it is just the same as this, because if I multiply the powers, then I will go back to my original, that is original number. Now, having arrived at this, 128 raised to 1 over 7 is the same as the 7th root of 128. So this is just the same as the 7th root. So the 7th root, I can write it this way. The 7th root of 128 then raised to negative 2. Now, the 7th root of 128 is 2. The 7th root of 128 is 2. Now, we have 2, then raised to negative 2. 2 raised to negative 2. For me to remove this negative, I have to say 1 over the number that is here. So I will have, this implies that we have, that is 1 over 2. Then I remain with 2 outside. Now, a half squared is just a quarter. A half squared is just a quarter. Now, after obtaining this, let us have a look at our original question, that this is 128 raised to negative 2 over 7, x raised to 5 over 2, y raised to 10 over 3, all over, that is x cubed, y squared, then close the bracket, raised to 1 over 6. Now, I have already simplified this to become a quarter. So, this one is a quarter right now because I have simplified it to obtain a quarter. Then let us proceed to simplify this. That is x and y. Because there is x in the numerator and there is x in the denominator, there is y in the numerator, there is y in the denominator. Now, because this is division, we can just divide the like terms directly. Now, let us have, that is, instead of this, we have a quarter, that is 1 over 4. Then we have x raised to 5 over 2. Now, I want to divide like terms directly. That is, we have x raised to 5 over 2. We have x raised to 3. then raised to 1 over 6, because this power can be distributed inside the bracket. Now that means we shall have, let me first have, that is y raised to 10 over 3, then all over, that is x cubed, then y raised to 2, then close the bracket, raised to 1 over 6. Now, I want to distribute this 1 over 6 into what is inside the bracket. Remember this law of indices, that is a raised to m, then close the bracket, raised to n is just the same as a raised to mn. You multiply the powers. Now, since this is x cubed, this is x raised to 3, then there is a power that is outside, so I multiply by, that is 1 over 6. 3 times 1 over 6 is by 3, 1, by 3, 2. And therefore, this is x raised to a half. This is x raised to a half. Now, the same applies to y squared. The same applies to y squared. That is y raised to 2, then times 1 over 6. So by 2, 1, by 2, 3. And now this is y raised to a third. That is y raised to 1 over 3. Now, this one can be, that is a quarter, x raised to, that is 5 over 2, then y raised to 10 over 3, then all over. What is in the denominator now? I said this is x raised to 3, then raised to 1 over 6. Not raised to 1 over 6, but x raised to 3 times 6, which is just x raised to a half. That is, you simplify the powers. You simplify the powers. Now, then this is y raised to 2 times 1 over 6. Now, this is y raised to a third, because if you simplify the powers, then you have y raised to a third. Now, from this point, let us proceed to simplify. That is the like terms. This is x and this is x, this is y and this is y. Now, since this is division and multiplication, then we can just say directly x divided by x. That is x raised to 5 over 2 divided by x raised to a half. Then times y raised to 10 over 3 divided by y raised to a third. Now let us proceed to simplify. We shall have, that is a quarter. This is a quarter. Then we shall have x raised to 5 over 2, then divided by, that is x raised to, this is x raised to a half. This is x raised to a half. Then we close the bracket that way. Then we also open. We shall also have y. This y raised to 10 over 3. This is 10 over, that is 10 over 3. 10 over 3. Then divided by, that is, what is in the denominator is y raised to a third. Then we close the bracket that way. That is what we have. Now let us proceed to apply the laws of indices. Remember, this is the division law of indices. We can apply the division law of indices for example, x raised to m divided by, that is, x raised to n. Since the bases are the same, then, and there is a division sign in between, we minus the powers. So we shall have x raised to m minus n. Now, it is just the same thing here, that we shall have x raised to 5/2 minus a half. Therefore, we shall have, that is a quarter, into, that is x raised to 5/2, then minus a half. Then we close the bracket that way. What is in the power, we close the bracket. Then we close the bracket into, this is y raised to 10/3. So we shall have 10/3. Then minus, that is a third. Then we close the bracket that way. Then we close the bracket. Now, from there, we shall have, that is a quarter into x raised to 5/2 minus a half. Remember, the bases are the same. The LCM is 2. Not the bases, but the LCM. The LCM of 5, that is, the LCM of 2 and 2 is 2. And therefore, if the LCM is 2, and what we have in the denominator is 2, that is 2 and 2, then we just say 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. Then what is in the denominator is 2. So we shall have 4/2. Then close the bracket into y raised to, since what we have in the denominator is the same, then we just say directly 10 minus 1, which is 9. Over what is in the denominator is 3. Then we close the bracket that way. Now, from there, we can simplify further. That is the power of x and the power of y, so that we can have, that is a quarter, x raised to, this is 4/2. If you simplify, you get 2. Then y raised to 9/3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And therefore, what we obtain in simplifying that integral expression is a quarter x squared y cubed. That is the answer that we obtain.